Interesting. Moldova moves to exit CIS as Sandu hails Poland's support in Warsaw talks. There you go. CIS is this organization that was basically created just as the Soviet Union fell. It was supposed to keep all the former Soviet Union countries together in a form of economic bloc, military also bloc. It was supposed to keep certain structures within the Soviet Union from falling apart once all of the countries separated from the Soviet Union. It was supposed to keep the Soviet Union together in spirit. That was the whole idea. It was the European Union idea, but for the former Soviet states. But it has largely failed. There are many different reasons. We could be discussing why CIS as an idea has failed. Ukraine has joined CIS as one of the founding members. That is worth mentioning. The most important reason why CIS as an idea has failed is because Russia was too dominant among the other states that have joined CIS, which meant that Russia took on an exploitative role within it, which means that the whole idea of a bunch of weaker countries subduing a bigger country, it did not work for the CIS as much as it kind of worked for the European Union, where the aggressor country, Germany, everybody considers Germany the aggressor country, was subdued via trade agreements and overall structures of the European Union. That did not pan out for Russia and its neighbors, and that is one of the most important reasons why CIS as a political bloc has largely failed, and now Moldova is moving to exit that agreement.
Moldovan President Maia Sandu is on an official visit to Poland, and among other things, her agenda includes meeting the Polish President Karol Nawrocki and Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Following the meeting with Sandu, Karol Nawrocki said that the Moldovan president and government are an excellent example of how to resist the Russian threat. Maia Sandu has been Moldova's president since 2020 and is considered a leader of pro-European forces in the country. Last year, her Party of Action and Solidarity won the parliamentary elections, defeating the pro-Russian opposition. Maia Sandu, on the other hand, said that she looks to Poland for lessons in historical remembrance and considers Warsaw an important partner in resisting the Russian threat.
When Russia invaded Ukraine, Moldova was highly exposed, 100% dependent on Russian gas, vulnerable in electricity, and economically somewhat linked to Russia. With support from partners, including from Poland, we moved fast. Today, Moldova buys zero Russian gas and consumes zero electricity produced from Russian gas.
Right.
Our trade with Russia is now below 4%.
Poland has long supported Moldova's aspirations to join the European Union.
And leave CIS. Like, to join the European Union, it goes without saying, you leave one bloc to join another.
And the Polish president reaffirmed that that is still the case.
Moldova is finalizing its withdrawal from the Russia-led Commonwealth of Independent States, hence CIS, CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States, marking another step in its effort to break long-standing political and economic ties with Moscow. During an official visit to Poland, Maia Sandu, the country's president, underlined Warsaw's role in helping her country strengthen its independence from Russia. Sandu met Polish President Karol Nawrocki and Prime Minister Donald Tusk to discuss security, energy, and European integration. I think it goes without saying, but Moldova should absolutely leave CIS. CIS is a dead project. It has been a dead project for a long time. It has not served its purpose. It was already considered dying or dead in 2009, I think. It has been considered a failed project for a long time. That is the main takeaway that we should be getting. After the talks, Nawrocki described Sandu and her government as an example of how to resist Russian pressure. And I think it's another one of those turning points for Moldova. One is the fact that I've already discussed this before. the conversation around Moldova's reunification with Romania. That is a topic that is gaining more traction apparently recently. And depending on the polls, sometimes some polls show that a lot more people than you would think are pro-rejoining, the rejoining with Romania, because Moldova on its own is very vulnerable to Russian influence or even Russian invasion, as proven by the carving out of the Transnistria region away from Moldova. And now Moldova is finalizing exiting the economic sphere, the economic coalition of ex-Soviet countries, which is another step of making Moldova independent from Russia. But if Moldova exits the Commonwealth of the independent states, that could potentially mean a more aggressive response from Russia. And I wonder if that will affect in any way the conversations that Moldova has around reunification. I really wonder if that what will be the effect of the Moldovan government deciding to leave these trading and military bloc. What will Russia's response be to this move? And will Russia try to influence Moldova through Transnistria in order to not let that happen? I mean, there's not much Russia can do at the moment, but Poland reiterates its support for Moldova ambitions to join the European Union. Russia reaction to Moldova leaving the Russian reaction to Moldova leaving the leaving CIS. Here we go. I want to see the reaction.
Moldova's withdrawal from the CIS was not unexpected. Dmitry Peskov, the press secretary of the Russian president, responded to journalists' questions about Moldovan Foreign Minister Mihai Papusoi's statement that his ministry had begun the process of denunciating the agreements that underpinned the creation of the Commonwealth of Independent States, including the founding agreement, its annex, and the organization's charter.
Which is interesting to note that it is very interesting to note that Russia has invaded Ukraine while I believe it was still in CIS.
Moscow also responded to President Maya Sandu's recent statement in a podcast to British journalists that she would vote in favor of unification with Romania if a referendum were held. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov emphasized during a press conference that the European Union is interested in the complete destruction of Moldovan statehood.
This is evident in, numerous facts. For example, the Moldovan language has already been renamed Romanian. School textbooks teach the history of Romania instead of the history of Moldova. Hitler's Nazi collaborators, like Antonescu, are declared national heroes.
Ah, I see.
According to the Russian foreign minister, amid Moldova's rapprochement with the European Union, essentially a process of absorption, there are growing concerns about its possible accession to Romania, which is being presented as the fastest path to EU membership. At the same time, Sergei Lavrov confirmed that Russia is interested in normal relations with Moldova and does not provide any pretext for hostile actions against it.
Yeah, just as Russia was interested in the normalization of relations with Ukraine. Where have we heard that before? Russia always wants normalizations with everybody until it invades.
We contacted the press service of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the President of the Republic of Moldova.
And of course, Russia would be displeased if Moldova decided to reunite with Romania,
asking for comment on the statement by Russian officials. However, no one answered our calls. Earlier, the Moldovan Foreign Ministry responded to a similar statement by Nikolai Patrushev, an advisor to the Russian president, that Moldova could disappear from the world map or be absorbed by another state. The Moldovan Foreign Ministry called
Russia is not against Moldova disappearing from the map. Russia is against Moldova not being absorbed by Russia.
Such statements unacceptable interference in the internal affairs of our country, aimed at destabilizing the region.
Yep. All right. So we have the Russian response. I certainly hope as a person in the region that is affected by Russian meddling, that Moldova will be able to move away from Russia as far as possible. If it's necessary to reunite with Romania to do so, then I guess that is what will have to happen. I certainly am happy that Moldova is exiting the ill-fated, completely unsuccessful CIS project, which Ukraine also has been a part of. And we will see how developments will move forward as Moldova is finding itself in an increasingly vulnerable position internationally.